Make a few adjustment. Do. Welcome to the final episode of The Hate You Give. I did 1, 2, and 3. I hope that you had an opportunity to watch all three. When I began this series, I mentioned that when I do a movie review, I like to do movie reviews to get something from what I learn. I just don't watch movies just to watch movies. I want to see what I can learn from them. So it's my hope that you learn something from these videos. My attention was drawn to this movie in a way that I had never watched a movie. When I saw the movie, it made me think about my time when I was working in law enforcement. Oh, you want to check out my shirt? The Hidden Tears. And when I was thinking about it, it made me think about the life I live as a police officer. And I wanted to bring a perspective from my eyes to what I see. I'm not justifying the behavior of bad police officers, because there are some and they'll be weeded out eventually. God forbid if they're weeded out after causing harm to someone. But I want this series, to enlighten you as to the do's and don'ts. I was thinking about prior to logging on that fear does run through an individual mind when they stop a car because the driver, male or female, may have done or committed a crime, and they think that the officer is stopping them for that reason. Unbeknownst to the officer, when he stopped the car, maybe a mere traffic violation, he or she have to go through a set of protocols. And I want you to visualize this. You're on a routine patrol. You see a car weaving in and out of the road or running red light, or something about the vehicle caught your attention. You turn on your blue lights and siren, pull the vehicle over. You radio in your location, the tag number, description, how many occupants in the vehicle. You walk up to the vehicle, and might be a black male, and you're supposed to say, "My name is Officer Milton. The reason why I'm stopping you because you ran that stop sign or ran that red light, or you're speeding, or whatever reason you stopped him. And I need to see your identification and insurance card." The reason for that is to make sure that you're who you say you are, if you have any warrants on you, or to run the vehicle registration and see if you have valid insurance. With the new technology today, they should know it if they have certain card readers on the vehicle to read the tag. But then the individual get belligerent, vocal, talking back, talking loud. "Why you stopping me, man? I didn't do nothing wrong. You always stopping the black officers, black people, and yada yada kind of stuff." And from my experience, I had experienced that. I always say to myself and to the individual, don't treat me as though I'd done something to you. Treat me based on you and our contact. I don't care about what you went through with another officer. I don't care if you have information or saw it on TV or got word of knowledge about how officers behave. Don't treat me that way, because there's a reason why I'm asking you for certain things. Then the person want to get all upset, so I asked him to step out the car. He put his hand in his pocket, which is a no-no. Why? Because for my safety and their safety, they may have a gun. There have been times where I stopped individuals that did have a gun in their pocket or in their belt line. So I want to pat them down for my safety and their safety. But remember, they may have committed a crime that I do not know about, and they think I'm stopping for that. So there's a reason why we do the things we do. And in doing so, if it goes well, and you thank the individual for cooperating, and you drive off in the sunset, and that has happened. I remember stopping individuals for running a red light, and I told them why I stopped them. We got to talking, and I gave him a break. Don't do it again. They ride off in the sunset. It's not about how many tickets you write, as some people think we write. We get a quota, and you got to write so many tickets per night because you get a kickback. No such thing. Not that I know of when I was doing it. And then there are instances where there may be a warrant on an individual, and you have to arrest him, and you tell him to put his hand on the top of the vehicle because a warrant has been that you have been notified as a warrant on this person need to be apprehended. So you begin to pat the person down and reach for the hand and say, put your hand behind their back, and the person come up off the car or pull back, and a struggle ensue because my job is to grab you, hook you, and do my best to handcuff you. And at times, a struggle do occur, and I was able to handcuff the person. Did I hit him in the head? Did I use my nightstick? Did I use excessive force? No. I always have a thing about I'm gonna cuff you and stuff you. I'm not gonna wrestle you. I'm not gonna fight you. I'm gonna do my best to handcuff, put you to the ground and handcuff you. And yes, I've seen videos where officers have gone way beyond excessive force. I've seen one video a few days ago where the individual was stopped by a white cop, and he kept looking. The white cop kept looking on his shoulder because I detected that he was in fear because it was a black individual. And this is the truth. There are some officers, white and black, do have a certain degree of fear. So they need a backup. They need someone to be out there to help them to handcuff and arrest somebody because they cannot do it alone. If they find themselves in that position, they should just simply quit because they're going to eventually get someone hurt or hurt themselves. And as I was thinking about it, and I watched the officer kept waiting and waiting. His girlfriend, my wife, was filming the incident, and the guy was just standing with his arm folded up, laying back on the hood, the trunk. And I have that happen to me before. And he said, I'm just going to wait till you're back up because, I didn't do anything wrong. And the officer, well, I want to handcuff you for your safety. Yeah, you can do that at times, but by doing that at times, not knowing that the person is wanted or not knowing that the person have done something, you could escalate it. So you might want to not do that. It's a trial, it's a one-on-one or play it by ear kind of thing. And so when the guy did not comply, he said, I'm going to arrest you for this. I'm going to arrest you for not obstruction or not listening to me, something to that effect. So he waited till his backup arrived. When his backup arrived, another white officer jumped out the car, ran toward the individual, and grabbed him by the neck and threw him to the ground. No talking, no whatever, nothing. And I said, wow, that in a way was wrong from what the video was showing that the wife had uh, indicated on her video. So yes, there are officers out there that are afraid. Think about it: when a black male or a white male, or even female, raised up in a certain part of the neighborhood, they are taught or instantly, knowingly or unknowingly by their parents, to fear the white male or fear the black male. So they grow up with that mindset, and guess what? They become police officers, and they have a fear for the opposite race, male or female, black or white. And when they're put in a position of authority, and they feel that instead of confessing that they cannot do the job or cannot handle the job verbally, some will grab a nightstick, the gun, the stun gun, or whatever to communicate, not following the certain criteria of communication, a de-escalation first, and then if you need to escalate, then you pick certain things. But a lot of time we escalate things by how we communicate, affect not how we don't communicate. Just because we are in uniform, that does not mean that I have authority to do whatever I want to do, and you're supposed to comply to me without even asking me questions. It doesn't work that way. And I've been in a situation where I've seen officers have done that. So I want to point out to you and say to you that I'm not saying that officers are perfect. No one is perfect on any given job. But to understand why we do what we do will always help you as you ride the highways and byways or even walking. Know your rights. Know what you can and cannot do. And when you're confronted, just comply. So the movie gave a scene that I'm gonna focus on that the young lady was in the car with her friend, and he was pulled over, and also approached him and was talking to him, and he kept being, in a way, vocally, verbally, raising his voice and saying all kind of stuff. And his girl kept telling him to listen, stop doing it, whatever, whatever. And they put their hand on top of the vehicle. They asked for the driving license, insurance card, and he complied after resisting verbally a little bit. And the officer asked him to step out of the car. put his hand on top of the hood of the car, stay there while he go check, run his tag, and driving license mission, or maybe you're going to pull it up on the computer. So when the officer did that, sent back, went down and sit in the car, the young man got off the hood of the car, which is a no-no, looked in the car, which is a no-no, talked to the girl. She kept telling him to get back and do what the officer said. He did not really listen. He was talking about, I'm just want to make sure you're all right. So his movement, his action, his behavior caused the officer to respond in a negative way. And one may justify, say, it is not. No, I have been in a situation. We can always quarterback. If you have not been a police officer and you're going about what you think, what you feel, what you know, and what you heard, if you have not been in my shoes, you can't tell me what I have been through. So I'm coming from experience, both sides of the fence. So when the young man reached and pull up a brush, that split second, he came out of the car with his hand on the brush, and the officer thought he had a gun and fired his weapon. I have been in that situation where I was chasing someone who stole a car after finding out it was stolen after running a tag number. He jumped out the car. I ran behind him. We jumped several backyards, 4 o'clock in the morning. He turned around and raised his hand up in the air, and my instinct said, shoot in the ground. So when I fired in the ground, he said, oh, man, you're trying to shoot me. And when I finally got to him and handcuffed him, I said, why do you shoot at me? He said, because when I raised my hand, I thought you would think that I have a gun and you will move out the way or stop chasing me or whatever. And that's why I did it. So when you running through a backyard, when you running behind people, you have a split second to react. It's not always a BB gun, a play gun, or a toy gun can look like a real weapon. If I had fired at him, I would have fired an unarmed man. Now, God knows where would happen to me. I remember being in a patrol car, 11 o'clock at night. We had just got the new cars where I said in other videos, with automatic window, you can roll down the automatic windows. And I won a domestic dispute, and I saw a black male hiding behind some hedges against the apartment next to a window. As I approached the apartment complex, he jumped up and ran toward me. I said, "Pow!" And I saw an orange flat. I turned the wheel to the left, and I was going to reach for my hand weapon, roll down the vehicle, and shoot him as he was running toward me after he had fired his weapon. But he tossed the weapon toward the hood of my car. It fell by the driver's door when I eventually picked it up, and he ran off into the sunset, figure of speech. And I read over his description. He finally got caught, brought him back to the scene. Why do you shoot at me, young man? He said, I thought you was white. I said, well, you thought I was white? The only thing white on me is my teeth in this patrol car. I think he got zip 6 first time in trouble, got 0 to 6 years to serve. So what is my point? When officers out there doing their job the best they can, they respond accordingly. And yes, what I'm saying may go out of one ear, another ear, and people say, well, we deserve it, or treat other officers as the same. No, every officer does not respond the same way. I know black officers don't like blacks, and I know white officers don't like whites. Have known both. But does that make the news? No. Do black officers shoot black suspects? Sure. Do white officers do the same? Sure. Which make the news? Which make the news? It's always the officer shoot the person. But they never say to the fact that they never say that the officer was fired at. That someone used a weapon to fire at the officer. It's always the police officer. Think about this. Someone is running from a police officer and he has a gun in his hand. Do you think the person with the gun in his hand cannot shoot while running forward? Yes, they can. And what if the officer returned fire as this individual is shooting while running forward? Once the officer pull that trigger and the bullet go out, it does not turn around. It does not discriminate. Say, oh, that's the back of the head. That's the back of the person. And then the person turn around and run forward after he's firing at the officer and get hit in the head or get in the back. And the news say, police officer shoot person running in the back of the head or the back his back. So we got to think about it. Think about it of a shooting. Listen to the fact. Don't go by what your emotions tell you. So in this particular movie, they were saying the right things. Don't do these things. Don't be argumentative with the officer who stops you. Just, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am, goes a long way. Comply. If you have done nothing wrong, comply to what's being asked of you. And you may not get the ticket. Comply. Don't argue and fuss that, it's a white black thing, or be argumentative, or you don't want to comply to the rules without taking a hand out your pocket. Because, like I mentioned, I've caught many individuals who have guns in their waistband or even in their pocket or even a knife. So understand why a police officer do what he does. It's not about, yes, I can say it's about white and blacks, depending on the officer, but all officers not out there doing and looking to seek to hurt other people. I have worked in a maximum security prison where individuals are not getting out. They're in prison for the rest of their lives. I've been worked in a prison where they have never touched a cell phone or even a beeper back when they had beepers. Don't get to eat the food that you and I eat. Their loved one, their family member, eventually don't come visit them anymore. They have no family outside support. Some of them get into gangs, do things in prison like they're still outside, all kind of behavior. And then some seek to get an education to better themselves with the time they have. Then I worked in a jail, working with juveniles, and they're very volatile, throwing their feces, throwing their urine, doing all kind of stuff against the officer. So I've been on all sides of the fence, worked in law enforcement on the street, worked in the prison, worked in the jail. So I know what I'm talking about. But if you have not experienced what any officer experienced, you can only go by like a woman, like me telling a woman, I know how you feel about what she's going through about being pregnant. No, I don't. I know what the book said. I have to actually be pregnant to understand how she feels. So remember, know your rights. The best advice I can give you, if you stop, comply to what being asked of you. If you had done nothing wrong, even if you ran a traffic light, still comply. You may get away with not being written a ticket. Don't set a course in your life if you have done nothing wrong. Be arrested for being uh, verbally abusive. I look at that as part of the job. People have cussed me out, called me all kind of names. Even though I'm a black officer and I stop a black person, they call me all kind of names that I'm this kind of lover and that kind of lover. Prior to logging, I saw where it looked like a black female was stopped, given a ticket, and the officer asked her to sign it. She said, I'm not going to sign it. Okay, what does the officer do? If you refuse not to sign the ticket, what is the officer supposed to do? Write on the ticket, refuse to sign, and give you a copy. I have done that. Give the person the copy and they ball it up and throw it up at me. So what? If they throw it out, I just pick it up, keep it, turn in the original copy. If they don't go to court, hey, the judge is a arrest warrant for them. So there's certain things, common sense that we must use. Don't the officer should not feel disrespected if the person don't sign the ticket. Officer not feel disrespected if someone just throw the ticket on the ground. I know officers in the past when I was in law enforcement that had a thing about how many tickets going to write, had a thing about how many people going to arrest tonight. It's like a notch on your gun. They're also out there feel that the more drug arrests they make, they're good at it. But then I read off something on a news the other day where off 100 and something case has been dropped against this white officer because he got caught putting drugs in people possession. I think the article I read, he put possession or drugs in a female pocket, and they actually showed his body camera where he had cocaine in his hand. He's sticking this woman uh, pocketbook. So they had to drop over 100 and something case out there. In the article read that I guess he was doing it because he wanted his peers to know, felt that he was a top-notch drug detective because he made all these arrests. So they had to drop all these cases that he has been involved in. Imagine the lawsuits coming out. So yes, they do things that will eventually get them caught, but don't get caught up into the trap of being stopped, not complying to whoever may stop you. Remember, that officer may be in fear. I'll give you one thing. I stopped this guy about no, 6'2", maybe 200 something pounds, and I ran a warrant check on him and turned out he's warrant. And I said, sir, you need to put, I always say, sir. So, sir, you need to put your hand on top of the car. He said, I'm not putting my hand on this car. You and one army gonna take me to jail. I said, okay, I'll tell you what. Before I go through all this fighting, wrestling you and handcuffing you, I'm gonna call EMS. He said, for what? I said, because when you and I start and when things get ugly, I want EMS right on the scene so they'll be there to take care of you or me, and they won't have to, we won't have to wait. He said, man, you crazy. He put his hand on the car and I cuffed him. So there's a certain technique that any officer must develop that's comfortable. My technique, my style may not be he or she could use, but I can tell and I can sense and I can determine from my experience when an officer is fearful, is afraid, don't know how to communicate, and hide behind the badge and gun, thinking that that should demand respect and demand obedience. It does not. You get what you put out of it. So when I watched this movie, it impacted me in such a way that I understood why the young black males do the thing they does. They go to jail, get out after serving time for having years. The law and the rules, they can't get an apartment, can't get a house, can't do this, can't do that. Certain places won't hire them. They feel useless, feel whatever. They don't have any money. They don't know where to stay. You know, they've been in jail or prison for a long time. So they commit another crime to go back into the system because that's where they're comfortable. And they go back in there for 3 meals a day in comfort and having a place to stay. It may sound weird to you, but that's they have been institutionalized for that reason. Then there are some that want to do the best they can to provide for maybe the young ones or the woman, and they go into a legal drug sale because that's the only money they can make. Am I justifying it? No. I understand it, why they do it. Is the consequences because of them doing it? Yes. But I understand it more. When I was riding the patrol car, it was about doing my job. If I met individuals that broke the law, yeah, I arrest them, take them to jail, go to court, listen to the outcome, and that's the extent of it. But I really never thought about the reason why they do what they do. Not justifying, I'm not justifying blacks on black crime, black on this and black on that. No, it's still wrong. It's still in order for anyone who live a life of crime, who've been in prison, who've been in jail. You may think this funny. They must change the way they think. I've worked in a prison where a guy said, I'm getting out of this prison tomorrow. I find out, he said, I realized that when I was hanging out with the people, I was hanging out with the wrong people. I must get away from these people and change how I'm thinking. He got out. A month later, he was back in the prison. What happened, man? Yeah, you know how it is, man. You know, it's hard, whatever, whatever. So he got back, he returned back to prison because he did not keep his word. So we must, anybody must change. You don't have to be a prisoner or someone who's been incarcerated. In order for our life to change, we must change our way of thinking with the truth, accepting that we are prideful, accepting that we need help, admit that we need help, admit that we have problem, alcohol, drug use, or whatever, and seek counseling, seek guidance. Uh, don't feel bad that you need help. Don't feel if you need to go back to school to get a GED, go get a GED. Do what you can to make your life better. So when you go out and apply for a job, you can't don't put on there you did not finish school because they may not hire you. Like a young lady I met say she realized by dropping out of school she cannot go higher than the 8th grade. They won't hire her. She didn't have any kids when I did spoke to her, so she decided to go back to school to get a GED. So each individual must go do something to change their way of thinking. And how does one change their way of thinking? Is to trust God. Change their way of thinking by reading the Bible, studying the Bible, learning, changing the way they think. And when you change, if you don't change the way you think from the lifestyle you living or experiencing, then you're going to continue in that cycle. There's truth out there. When you accept the truth about who you are, who you is, where you're going, where you're heading, then that is a start to go toward bettering yourself as you move up the ladder of success. No one should not say that they can't make it, they can't change their life. They say that because that's what they believe. They say that because they hang around people who tell them or make them think they cannot achieve. So it's my hope that you listen to what I've said, listen to all the messages, And think about what I have shared, that you who are in the life of crime or in going to be incarcerated or just got out of prison, or even those of you who listen that know someone that need to hear this, I ask you to subscribe to my channel. Look at the other videos that I have put on my YouTube channel, and I promise you that you will get something out from them. We're living in a world where people are only concerned about themselves, what they can get, what they think, what they feel, what they want, how it benefits them. But then if you ask them a question, when last have you done something for somebody without expecting something in return? When last have you done something for someone that you did not know? And 9 times 10, they probably say they never. So the movie taught me one thing. So must say that forgive me, brothers and sisters, for not look. It did not. It would not stop me from doing my job effectively, but it gave me understanding on why people do the things they do. It don't always have to pertain to a life of crime, but I learned something. And this may get me in trouble because people have voiced their concern, they don't like it. When we hear Black Lives Matter, what does that mean? People say, oh, every life matters, Black Lives Matter. But who are we to say that a white person or a black person or a Hispanic person, a male or female, or any sex is better than one? Is that a racial statement? Yes, it is. I can be a racist, that my life matters over so-and-so. That is a racial statement. And we're living in a cycle in society today where everything is racism. Everything is not racism, lack of knowledge. It's the person who's spouting that mess, what their intention. It's good to give me all of the facts. You share Black history with me, give me all of the facts, not certain facts that fit your agenda, because I want to be able to decide for myself. Tell me all of it, even if it don't line up with what you would think. Give me all of the facts. Don't tell me part of it for me to follow your uh, crusade or your protest. Give me all of the facts. So when I share that Black Lives Matters should matters to everyone and all life matters, but here's the kicker that I threw out. If Black Lives Matters, then why are blacks killing, raping, stealing, breaking in people's houses, looting and doing stuff? And someone said it's justified because of oppression. No one, no race should justify harming another person. That's a racial statement. There's nothing you can do to convince me it's okay, because the seeds that we sow, we're going to reap the consequences. Think about their thoughts. And when people go out there and punish or inflict pain or do things because of race, do they think that they escape? They may escape physically and never been arrested for it, but there's a spiritual law out there that says you will reap the consequence of your action. So think about this. If you are experiencing hard times right now, do you remember or can you remember or recently have you done something because of a racial statement or racial response? Maybe that may be the cause of why you can't succeed in life. So my thing is, Black lives matter to blacks who obey the law. That's the truth. Any race, you can, if you want to go that far, any race, lives matter to any race. Whites kill whites, Mexicans kill Mexican, gang members kill each other and kill other gang, females. No one is exempted from harming somebody's life. So all lives matters. But black lives, white lives, and every other life that we can think of should matters. And if it does not matter to any race in society, it only matters to those races who obey the law, white, black, Chinese, whomever. It only matters to them because they will seek out help, they'll seek out counseling, they'll seek out help and support, they'll ask questions, they'll seek out court proceedings, they'll seek out civil proceedings, criminal proceeding, whatever, to resolve the issue. Picking up a knife or a gun or any form of a weapon to go out to revenge in the name of the victim is wrong. It is wrong. Violence beget violence. To enforce our will on someone through violence get us nowhere. It gets people in trouble. There are like I say, I met many individuals in prison regret the choices they have made, never getting out. They will die in prison, never, never getting out. No mother, father, brother, sister, extended family member will cease to come visit them. No money will be sent and put in their accounts for them to buy things, food, and whatever in prison. If you did not know, they have a little store or canteen or where inmates can go and spend money. They have an account where they can buy candy bars and potato chips and such, along with the 3 meals they get. They get free dental, free health insurance, health plan, haircuts, whatever. Like they're living out in an apartment. You, young man or female, in the sound of my voice, or those of you who know, then is that life for you? You may say yes, because I'm representing. Then keep on representing. I'm sharing about this movie, what I learned personally that had changed my way of thinking, not justifying any behavior. We got to tell it like it is. In doing so, being a black male, telling it like it is, people don't like because they say you're embarrassing, you're insulting, you're not one of us anymore. You putting our dirty laundry out there. No. If we have many individuals out there speaking the truth who say they are for us, imagine what will happen, what will have happened when we have this violence on each other. So the hate you give can come from male, female, of any races. The hate you give, even when my duty as a police officer and not in uniform. Did I face racism? Yes. How? When you see signs of it, when I go in the store and you see someone following you and you know they're a security guard. When you step on the elevator and a white female is on the elevator and she clenches her pocketbook. When you walk by a female or anybody, and you white male, female, and you say good morning or good evening, it's like you don't exist. Or you can sense that they really don't want to talk to you. I recall times where I've gone investigated cases where the person did not want me in their house because they said I was black. When I did a job other than police work, the customer followed me off through the whole house, stand over my shoulder. I can tell that they were not comfortable in me being in their house. So yes, I can recant, but did I respond in a negative way or selfish way or hurtful and prideful way? No, I did not. I accepted that was them. We as individuals must learn to listen, respond accordingly, and do the right thing. Because the hate you give will also come back on you. You plant the hate you give on somebody else, you can justify it as the air you breathe, but you're going to reap the consequences for the hate you give. Racism is not about racism, can be used about white and blacks, but every race on this earth, to some extent, have experienced, have dished out a form of racism. So the hate you give, think about it. The hate you give your parents, the hate you give your ex-husband, the hate you give your ex-wife, the hate you give your children, the hate you give your baby mama, the hate you give your father for not paying child support, the hate you give for not for your parents abandoning you, the hate you give that you don't know who your father and mother is, the hate you give your grandparents, the hate you give for being molested, the hate you give for being raped, the hate you give for whatever. It goes on and on and on. When we experience hate and we put out more hate, we're gonna reap more on us. So that's why when I go to movies, it's not all about the entertainment. It is about listening to what message is being said to me. Is this message is to plant hate? Is this message is a seed to plant doubt, unbelief, no hope, no dream, no goal? Think about it. When you watch a movie or watch television show or listen to music, does those things inspire you to be better? Does those things cause you to pull you up out of from your bootstrap to want to do better, to make yourself uh, mean something in life, even if it's only to you? Don't seek self gratification. Don't seek someone else's approval. Do the right thing. And if you stick along with it, you will overcome. So again, if you like what you heard, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to share, just share with your friends, family members, extended family members. Allow them the opportunity to hear what you have to say, hear what I said, and give them the opportunity to say, I want to make a difference. I thank you for sending this YouTube clipping to me because I didn't know this. Because what I'm speaking is the truth. You may not like it, you may want to accept it, but it's the truth. There are individuals out there right now need to hear what I have shared. So share it. Allow them to think what they need to think. Don't think for them. Allow them to receive. Hey, I heard this video, man. I think you need to listen to it. Just listen to it. Listen to it. And then come to your conclusion at the end. That's all you got to do. Listen to it. Listen to it and come to your conclusion at the end. You may not like what you've heard from video 1, 2, and 3. You may not like what you heard on other videos I have done. But it is the truth. It is the truth. Thank you again. Lord willing, I'll be back next Sunday with another interesting series on one-line topics. Thank you. Thank you. God bless.